Hello everybody. Is it good enough? Okay. So yeah, perceptual computing is the term that we're giving for a new way of interaction with your computer or any other device. I'll be walking you through 3 demos. Feel free to ask any questions. And to learn more about perceptual computing, software.intel.com/perceptual. So that would be your resource. This will primarily work on Win 7 or Win 8. You need a creative camera. This is a depth sensor camera. It has 3 dimensions. You would need this and the perceptual computing SDK to get any of these demos to work. And it would work on Win 7 or Win 8 platforms. The languages that are currently supported are C++ and C#. All right, so something wrong? Okay. Okay. Well, this okay. So this is a depth sensor demo. So it can see the depth of my finger, and there is a lightning between my fingers. It recognizes my fingers, tip of my fingers, basically. Okay. Okay. Most of you must have seen this demo working at the table. I'm not sure what's wrong with this particular machine. No, I'm sorry. Yep. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this camera has a distance limitation. It can only sense between 0.6 inches to 3.25 feet. Cannot sense more than that. So probably that's why the other demo wasn't working. So. Yep. Okay. So you can. Well, so this has. So as you can see, there is a way of sensing the depth of my fingers here. So because it's 3-dimensional. Okay. Let's try the lightning one again. Yep. So yeah, I was too far away from the camera. I'm sorry. Okay, so you can see that. Yep. Okay.
Last question is,
Yep.
you may have said this, I missed it. What are the hardware and software requirements to capture your gestures?
Sure. So it would work on any Intel Core processor, powered devices. Oh, am I not on? Okay, it would work on any Intel Core processor-based devices and PCs. Operating system would be Win 7 or Win 8 as of now. Yep.
Would it work on a laptop with Windows 8 in general?
Yeah, and you would need the camera and the SDK.
Yeah. Is it any webcam, or is it any webcam basically, or is it special?
This is a special camera. You would need this. Yeah. You could order the camera used through the software.intel.com/perceptual site.
What's the current retail?
I'm sorry?
What's the current retail price for?
$150? Yeah, $150. I'm sorry? Yep, it's creative and Intel.
So you mentioned the hardware requirements, including the camera and the SDK, but that's, I believe, for the developer, right? When you create the app, and let's say you want to deploy to
Sure.
a client's machine,
Uh-huh.
what does he need? Does he need some kind of like
To play around with
something
that,
to run this
to play around with that,
Yeah.
yeah, you would need a camera again.
Oh, obviously, yeah, like besides that, any other software? Just the camera or?
Yeah, I think the camera and the SDK should be good enough.
So any other user that need a SDK
Yes.
to run the app?
So for the camera to work, you need to install the SDK.
Okay.
The SDK is currently free for download.
How big?
Oh, it's not too big, it's pretty light. Okay. Not sure. Yeah, maybe I have that information here. I could look it up and let you know. Yeah, I'm not sure how many megabytes it is. I have installed it and it takes like a couple of minutes. Yeah, it's pretty small. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, this SDK camera is optimized for like 2 to 3 foot distance, right?
Yeah.
Is there a plan here? What about something where you want something 4 or 5 foot distance?
Okay, so I want to bring up one thing here, which is a repeated question in every meetup, or everywhere we talk about perceptual computing, is how it differs from Connect. Yeah, so this is meant for closely interacting with your PC. So right now the distance would be 3.25 feet because that makes sense because you're interacting with your PC. And that is the major difference of this technology versus the Connect. Other things are, this will have a voice SDK integrated, so you can have voice commands. You can say pick up, you can say drop, you can say anything, and you will be able to interact with your device. Give me a minute, please. I'm sorry. And also, the Connect SDK, I haven't personally played around with it, but if you have, probably it is. This SDK is a lot more easier to use with the high-level API for a beginner developer and much more low-level APIs for experienced and for experienced developers. Yeah.
So the Kinetic product is what's a longer distance?
Yeah, you need to be at least 6 foot away from the Kinect sensor for it to detect.
Is there any Windows PC or is it specifically Intel Windows PCs that's
Intel powered Windows PCs? Yeah. I'm sorry? Old PC? I didn't get it.
Well, there's the AMD.
No.
I'm wondering if they support by default or is that
It's not just PCs, any Intel powered devices. It could be a tablet or it could be a smartphone too. I'm sorry, I'll get. Yeah.
How much effort is required to take the user gesture input, feed it into a data visualization toolkit like JavaScript? D3 is one of them. To be able to dynamically render stuff.
Okay.
Is there a bridge? Is it easy to do? How would that work?
With JavaScript? Well, it is currently native, C++ and C#, and it's fairly easy to. That's what. There are 2 kinds of APIs that are available. One is the high level, which would just translate this gestures into a more easier API that can be used by a less experienced developer, and a more high level APIs for better control.
So you could generate a JSON-based data, for example, from the gestures, and pass it along as some kind of data structure to other toolkits that could consume that in any way you want.
Sure.
It'd be fairly straightforward.
Yep.
Do you have examples anywhere of that kind of?
I'm sorry, unfortunately I can't share any code at this point in time, but you could check out the site, and whatever is available on the site is for public consumption. For Mac? Nothing that I know of currently. But keep checking the site, they're constantly improving and adding patches to the SDK. So what I showed in December is not there now, it's new for the December meetup. So they're constantly adding things to the SDK, so be on the lookout. Yeah, I'm sure they would have a plugin soon.
Can you talk a little bit more about like how the graphics are rendered, like what libraries you use to do all those animations? Going through like probably using a lot of graphics.
Yeah, so I can show this to you offline. I mean, it's a very broad question to, we can take it offline because we have partnered with different people to achieve different things like voice or facial recognition or 2D or 3D recognition. So yeah, we could talk.
There is a Unity plugin for this, so if you develop a Unity, that's part of this.
Can you use CSS3 to make sure people with graphics?
Down the bridge, so if you build a small application that can capture the information from the camera, so that JSON exposed to that.
Yeah, if you can bridge it. Yeah. Yeah.
Is the SDK only going to be available on Windows?
I'm sorry, is the SD?
Is it only going to be available on Windows?
Only Windows, yeah. Right now, yes. For now, yes. Yeah, that's what I said. They're constantly making changes. So, I'm sorry.
I'm not the only one.
Any other questions? Yeah.
I have a question. What are the commercial intents for the applicability for the device as a choice?
Sorry.
What are the commercial intents and applicability? So, for example, is the vertical market of oil and gas, medical, and yes, so that's the beginning. So what's the intent? What's the idea behind where this would be the most profitable place to put this?
I think that's a good question. What do you think of the target market?
Okay, so let me mention, Intel's at a stage where we're making the technology available for developers. So one of the things that we talk about is we believe that developers find amazing things that happen with our technology. So we want the developers to help us with that. Obviously, gaming is an area that we think makes sense. That's why we work with Unity to make sure that this is a plugin available for games. It's a source system. Disability, ADA style applications would make a lot of sense, but we really believe it's completely open. Just as touch changed how we interface with mobile devices, we believe that this kind of technology can change how we interface with devices. I should say that it's also paired, the SDK is paired with nuance, driving naturally speaking, so you can build an application that allows you just to talk to the computer, as well as track your head gestures and your fingers and all that kind of stuff.
Any demos with the voice?
No, it's not public yet. So.
What about
Sorry. Probably silly, but is the camera required for the voice recognition?
Yes, it has a microphone integrated.
Are you able to, is that microphone required for voice recognition?
Yep. You actually, even with the voice, you would need your hand for the camera to get activated. You may have to use your hand and then talk because the camera needs to get activated using your gesture.
I think kind of hopping on to what he was asking about commercialization. So how does monetization play into this? Like, how do we, developers, make an app and sell it with the marketplace?
Okay.
That doesn't exist yet. So we believe developers are before the market, right? So we believe that you guys are going to take the technology that Intel puts out there to you. You're going to create some great demos, some great applications. We then work with OEMs to say, we think this is a great price. Look at what these developers have done, some of these thought leaders. We believe that this should be put in every device out there. So Intel will do a little bit of dictating to OEMs to say, you need to have this thing in there. Like touch technology, sensor technology that we're now putting in laptop computers. This is another piece of those technologies. But for those things to be adopted, we need developers to innovate. We need you guys to lead in that. So that's why we have this Perceptual Computing Challenge, this open challenge. We're looking for great apps and great ideas. And we're going to be doing this all year long. So while the camera is going to be released in market soon, only available to developers, we expect that sometime next year, we want the camera to be actually on devices themselves. Just like webcams used to be separate, now they're built in. So that market will develop over time, it just doesn't exist yet.
I guess I'm probably going to say the obvious. In order to help developers innovate, it's important to empower them and then give them code samples. So what's in the SDK in terms of code samples now, and what would be available in the future? What sort of roadmap is there for that?
Okay, so we will make a lot more code sample available on the SDK soon. But yeah, it would.
Yeah, you can, there's like a, it's not a hello world, what's it called? Something, application available in there. I'll show you something later today where I just hacked that and did something with it. And there's reference guides and API documentation and all that to start. Also, look forward to next month. I'll be releasing something with a set of 7 developers, very experienced developers. Well, they'll be very transparent with what they're doing over 7 weeks. So you'll learn from that too.
Does they have to be the rear camera? Can it be like the version of Connect, or then you can make the whole version of that?
Right now, it has to be the camera that we provide in the SDK. So there's some special secret sauce going on there that the Connect goes into. So it's slightly different technology.
I know it was mentioned earlier about facial gesture recognition. I was kind of wondering where you guys are going with that. Is the camera kind of always on?
Good question. There was a demo at CES just on that. We think that security is a great application for this. And one of the demos they showed at CES was booting up your device just by staring at it. So you just stared at it and it logs you in. And it logs you into every app available to you because you connected all of your IDs to that. It's highly secure because it's not just looking at a picture of you, it's looking at your face in 3D. It's recognizing your expressions, your muscle movements, all that kind of stuff. So it recognizes all that in 3D space. Sure.
What kind of data is the SDK give you? Like, is it just raw 3D data, or is it this gesture happened at this time, or what kind of?
It's actually 3 levels of that. Yeah.
It recognizes the gesture. It tells you what is the gesture.
And can the user add gestures, or like can the programmer, like is it developers who decide what gestures there exist, like there are, or like what would be?
Sure.
Yeah, there are 3 levels of data coming. You can just look at the raw data coming in from the camera and work with that, however you want to work with it. It's also looking at mapping things like points of where your finger is, where your palm is in 3D space, the relationship to that, all that. And then you can design your own gestures around that if you want. Say, okay, I'm going to recognize this as a gesture and go that. And then it also has some built-in gestures, and we'll do more over time so that you don't have to do all of that coding if you don't want to. We'll go over here because
Yeah, I'm concerned about the practice scalability. Obviously, the technology's at all point right now. Eventually, it will be like more points of 3D space and apps. What's the plan for making this software scale so that developers don't have to?
So software developers don't have to do what?
Like if I'm getting raw 3D data, I'm used to it in one format. Is doubling the resolution of the camera's 3D accuracy going to change how I have to make my app?
Well, yeah, so we are keeping in mind that any future development would be compatible to the older version, so you don't have to do a lot of rework.
And so like the simple app that I created just worked at the gesture level, right? And no matter where my hand was in space, if it was 3.5 feet away, or if it was right up to the camera, it recognized the gesture. So it's...
Yeah, but like she said, it's like 3 levels, there's 3 tiers of recognition. One of them is just giving the raw data, right? So if the raw data is something, there's twice as much of it, then either needs to be away from the software.
You want less data or more data?
I want the, like everybody, I'm sure I can do all those fancy things, but I also don't want to have an app I need 5 years ago quick because the cameras are pumping twice as many points as I
I don't think we're there yet. I think we're at the space where, and hopefully everybody understands, this is new technology. We want to put it in the hands of developers. You know, we're looking for you guys to do some interesting things with that technology. If this scales well, I mean, I think it's just like anything else out there. Really what we're doing is we're tracking data in space. So there's an infrared technology in there that's mapping with the pixel data as well. So we'll build the software, optimize the software to work as this stuff scales. So, but we're at an early stage. There's a lot of questionable things that can happen.
For each undertaker that we want to call it, does the software give the entire field of RGB and just change things?
Yeah, you're at a level that you're beyond me on that one. But we have a forum available. If you go to our forums at software.intel.com, and that's forums managed by engineers, not people like me. We don't know the answer to that, but that would be a great question. And if you want to follow up with me afterwards, I'll try to track that in.
How much of this is down to total immersion? What do they do? What is their role?
Total immersion? Okay, they do the 2D or 3D aspect of it. Is that what you're asking?
Well, I'm just wondering, how much Intel is done and how much total immersion is done. Where should my attention go?
Question I can't answer for you on this. So, Intel partners with a lot of people to bring technology to the table. So it's what we do. And so this is a piece of technology we're bringing to campus. So there is Intel stuff in here. There is total immersion stuff in here. We want to move this technology forward. So that's all I can do to answer your question. Yeah, we'll do that.
Slightly off the wall question. Are there any open technologies, OpenGL for example, that integrate with your technology stack?
That's a good question. I know the team is working on open technologies to integrate into this. There's some, as you know, take this kind of technology, if it's not, you got to get open to work proprietary and stuff like that. But those folks have said we're really eager and interested in again, we're very good.
How long did Kung Fu Kevin take for the developers to make it? How long did Kung Fu Kevin, the demo that's on the
Take
web?
to develop.
Yeah, to develop.
I have no idea.
Go ahead.
No idea. Really good question for the folks.
As far as kind of gestures go, like with the mouse and then like touch screens, certain gestures have come out. Do you see those same gestures kind of carrying over to the 3D space, or do you have certain gestures in mind?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about that. That's a great question. If you want to zoom in or do something like that, what's the equivalent for each, kind of that. So, I don't know. We're building in some gestures now. Navigation's right, mouse right, which is just.
I guess there is a pinch gesture on Zoom.
What's that?
I think there is a pinch gesture available.
Zoom gesture. Yeah, so I think that's an area of concern.
So it's like kind of like a high level. That's the
Yeah.
gesture you're talking about.
Yeah, there is some navigation gestures.
Will this work on iOS devices?
No,
Strictly
strictly Intel. Doesn't work on Mac yet.
Oh, that hurts.
Yet. Doesn't work on Linux yet. Okay, we'll do one more. Other people got a demo, right? It can't be about us. Didn't want this to be about Intel. Okay.
What's the front end you think?
Oh, I don't know.
CPU.
Laura, have you ever checked the
CPU.
Yeah.
Refresh rate?
Yeah, that's
I have not seen any lag in at least these demos that I just showcased. CPU percentage, I didn't really look at it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like we can just look at it. You
Yeah,
can
there are
go
some
over to
demos
that table
back
and
here.
we can, well, there are two Ultracode set up with the cameras, and there is this Try Me folder which has all these demos that I showed. You can please feel free to play around with it. But yeah, maintain a distance of 3.25 feet from the camera.
Okay, one more, and then I say forums.
You mentioned 3 API levels, one a gesture level, I guess you gave like.
Right.
And one low level, like raw data matrix.
Right.
What's that middle level? You didn't
Well,
really-
I don't know if you want to show that one example where it's got the fingers, it shows you the gesture things.
I don't have that.
You don't have that one? You can see it back there. But what you'll see is, in this demo, if you put your hand up near the camera, it draws a circle around all your fingertips. It draws where your fingers are, where the palm of your hand is. It knows, if you're opening or closing your hand in three-dimensional space. So there's more of it. It looks at the structure. It looks at facial features, where tracking your head and all that kind of stuff. So it's not the raw data, and it's not just pure gesture. It's kind of almost like a three-dimensional skeleton of where your computer is in space. Okay, all right.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, guys.